Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jonathan Tripp, host of today's show. Today, we're going to be talking about, well, we'll just kind of skip right to it. Happy Social Media Day to you. Happy Social Media Day to you. This is my celebratory cup today. This cup right here, and this cup was designed and given to me as a gift by Melissa Reyes. This is the epitome of what Social Media Day is to me. Okay. Melissa and we connected. Oh, and by the way, she does not know that I'm doing this. She has no, so which is kind of why it's a little funny, um, to me at least. Um, Melissa gave this cup to me as a gift. And I met her on one of the social media platforms, and since then we've connected in a couple places. I've been on her show. She's been a co-host on this show, and just we've just developed a really great friendship, and I really appreciate her. And so when she sent this mug to me, kind of out of the blue, I wasn't really expecting it. It just kind of showed up, and I've had other people give me some mugs and things like this, but this was my first one. And this to me is the celebration of what social media is. Okay, it is a connection. We connected over kind of more on a business side, but we've since then been able to have a friendship. And I've had others, and I think of people that I've been able to, be able to connect with, and we share videos and things like this. And I mean, and there's a lot of people out there, but this to me, this was kind of like that mark. This is this reminds me of that shift. And so to me, anyway, that's Social Media Day. And so my first thing I did today, and I'm going to be kind of chronicling this today, and I put it out on Snapchat. I just didn't get around to putting it up on Facebook, Facebook profile. Oh, no, I did, and I tagged her in it. So we'll see, but she's a couple hours back, so she's just getting her day going, and she's getting out. So we'll see, but we'll don't tell her too much, right? But this is a huge shout out to Melissa Reyes, showing me again that restoring my faith in humanity on the social media side. Anyway, guys, good morning to everybody that's watching us here live on Huzzah, and you guys are in here, and I really appreciate you guys, and everybody, if you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube or any of the other live streaming platforms, good morning today to you. Happy Social Media Day. How many of you guys know what Happy Social Media Day is? It's not, well, it doesn't have to be happy, but how many of you guys know what Social Media Day is? Does anybody have any clue? Has anybody ever heard of this? It happens the last day of June, and it's been happening now for I think this is the 7th year in a row that they've done this. This is kind of a funny thing. This is not like Independence Day or Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever major holiday that you celebrate. This was actually started by a company called Mashable, and I'm sure many of you guys know Mashable. And they kind of put it together as a way to celebrate social media and the impact that social media has on our life. And hopefully, what it does is that it kind of shows some good will. Okay, that it shows the good things that social media does, not just all what seems sometimes in the news, and what catches our eyes is the bad things that happen in social media. So what I did today, actually I did it as of 12. I think I got it right to the minute. 12 o'clock last night / this morning, for the start, at least in my day, I put up a post in our Facebook group. And by the way, if you guys want to be able to get into our Facebook group, the easiest way, it's just go over to group.jonathantripp.com, click on it. It takes you right over to our Facebook group. I put up a post in our Facebook group, and basically it's, hey, happy Social Media Day. Post something happy today. And if you would tag me in it, and if you're not friends, send me a friend request. But tag me in it and say I said 3, but yeah, give a couple of other people, and tag them in the photo, and make that what Social Media Day is about. Because I think that in and of itself. So some people are saying, well, there's big parties going on. I mean, literally, there's actually big parties going on around the U.S. and I'm sure around the world. I actually didn't even look to see what all of the the lists of the places and the party places, but they're all over the place, so that's kind of the short and sweet version of it. And for those of you guys that all have no idea, okay, you have no idea if social media day is. This is your chance to celebrate. And I already had Karen Graves. She tagged me already today, so big shout out to her. Thank you so much for that. Part of the reason why is because I need to see happy in social media. I need to be encouraged today. Okay, so my encouragement was one, out to Melissa Reyes. And I'll be posting some more throughout the day. But this is the challenge to you guys. Send it. I don't care if it's on Facebook. I don't care if it's on Twitter, if it's on Instagram. Snapchat. Wherever you are at, post something happy, inspiring, but positive today on Social Media Day. All right, so without kind of getting too much into it, I want to talk, and I'm just going to give you the outline of kind of the topics I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the changes in the Facebook news feed again. Okay, this is a really important one. The story just broke last night, or that the announcement actually broke last night. So Facebook news feed, your personal profile news feed is changing. Okay, I wanted to touch on Pinterest and how they're just making it a little bit easier. Well, actually, quite a bit easier to shop within the platform, how they're making that easier. Instagram translation, and why I think that's a significant move on their part. I want to talk about live streaming, and particularly with Tumblr, and you'll see why that I think it's important. And last but certainly not least, and I think this is actually a very much overlooked, it's not breaking news at all, but I think it's an important topic, and I want to talk about Twitch, but for creatives, not gamers. Twitch the platform, but I wanted to talk about it from the creatives. Hi Tan, welcome to our show. I just saw you pop up there. So those are the things, okay? So let's talk about Facebook, and it's changing its news feed again. How many of you guys even understood when I said they're changing the algorithm, they're changing what it is, okay? What is happening here? What is happening? Basically, it goes like this, okay? Facebook has decided for us, again, that they believe that we would like to only see, or primarily see, our friends and our family in our newsfeed, not brands and businesses. Go figure. I mean, isn't that amazing? All right. I'm kind of being tongue-in-cheek here, right? Of course, this is how and why we wanted to be on Facebook to begin with. I didn't go to Facebook to see Walmart or Target or Best Buy, or I don't know, just name whatever the brand is. I didn't go there to see them organically in my feed. I wanted to see what my friends are doing. I want to see what Pat's doing today. I want to see what Deborah and Jen, and Steven, and both of you. Guys, this is what I wanted to go. I wanted to see what my family is doing, where they're going for vacations, and maybe what they did. What I didn't want to see, organically at least, I didn't want to see, the army of social media marketing team effort to get my attention by posting 8,000 posts in the day and hoping that one of those will pop up on my newsfeed. I don't want to see that stuff. But here's the problem, right? Back in January, January of 2015, so just ending 2014, there was, I think I got that year right. It's either that or I'm a year off, but it's been almost 2 years when we saw the change of Facebook and the fan page algorithm. Okay, so that your organic reach from your own personal fan page went way down. They cut it way down because they're messing with the algorithm. They want to see how people react, and so they did their test and the things like this. And so what they're seeing is that your fan pages are now going to get less and less and less reach. This is why this is significant, because a lot of people have poured a ton of money into Facebook trying to get organic reach or reach, trying to get people to like the page so that their content posted on their fan page will reach those that like. Well, guess what? They just cut it down again. And this is a very interesting thing, because I think what they're doing is they're making room in the feed for both friends and family, but I also think they're providing more room for live stream videos, sponsored live stream videos, and further advertisement. This is why I think this is a very significant thing, and it's going to impact everybody that's utilizing, or utilizing is not the right word, relying on Facebook to help build their business. I don't know. I don't know the very long term effect, but I know the immediate effect. The last time they did this was that people stopped, or they either stopped using their fan page or they closed them down. I actually don't know how this will impact the viewership of those that are in, let's say, like our Blab Nation, our fan page. Not our fan page, our Facebook group. I wonder how that will actually impact. That reach. So maybe this is a good time to go, hey guys, if you haven't already, make sure that you go over to our page, and you click on the get notified all. Okay. I'm telling you, like, otherwise you will probably actually start missing more things than you possibly know. And Terry, that's a really good insight. Facebook does have to please the shareholders in making enough money because that's their duty. Their social duty that they say is to connect the world and to make their users more more connected and things like that. And I mean that's kind of an outworking, but I think their ultimate goal is profitability. And they have to make sure that they balance that in a way that they're able to bring their audience. And I think this is actually, so for the end user, actually I think this is a really good move, that they're now able to see probably more of the things that they want to see, which are their family, their friends stuff. And I mean, I've been using lists to try to keep track of, up to date with my friends and my family. It's a little time consuming, but maybe now I don't have to do those eight extra steps to make sure I just kind of connect with the different people. And so, that's why I think good for the users. I think bad for business. It's bad for the businesses, small businesses particularly, small businesses that don't use live streaming. Okay. And they've done a number of other changes, Terry, as well. And again, shout out to Melissa. I think I saw Melissa, you're watching us on Facebook Live, so thank you for that. So it's kind of funny, as much as like my not a rant, but my short little spiel on how I think that's good or bad for Facebook, and what am I doing? We're actually streaming this out to Facebook, right? Now, I don't think that this means that you don't want to use the platform. I just think that you need to make sure that you're not making your own home, or that you're solely relying on Facebook as your traffic, or the place where you connect. And I think that's going to be a really important factor with this. And that kind of just reminds me, it's like, guys, build your lists. And, for me, that's the way I do it. I have jonathantripp.com/better social, get you on the list. And some people are able to read the emails. I think I'm going to send out one more email, and then let everybody know in the group. It's like, hey guys, make sure you check your email, because what's happening is that you can't rely on just any one platform anymore. You don't want to be on just one platform. You want to be on several. So that let's say Facebook absolutely just says, we're going to give you a marginal 1 to 2% reach for your fan page. You're basically, you're out. You're out. You don't have the reach. I mean, even for, so with like 1,000 people, how much is that? 1%, you get to reach 10 people. Yay. 10 people. No, guys, it's harder and harder, because what they're doing is encourage you to spend money, but they really are trying to make, I think, the end user experience better. Okay, so that's kind of my short take on the Facebook, the news feed changing. So that's kind of, hopefully it's an encouraging thing. Okay, so the next one I want to talk a little bit about. Pinterest. And the new shopping, the new shopping thing. Okay, so what they're doing, and I'm looking for the reference that I had really quickly for that. Let's see here. Is rolling out shopping bags. Okay, there we go. And this was actually an article I had found. And I've done, I did a little bit of reading. I do think it's actually quite awesome. But on the venturebeat.com, okay, their headline reads this: Pinterest is rolling out a shopping bag, buyable pins on the web, and visual search for your camera. Do you see what that does? Okay. So you see this mug, or I'm just looking because Melissa's mug is sitting here. You know, this mug, or you know, that handbag, or you know, or those shoes that you can't, you like what it is, but you don't know what the name of it is. And so one of the things that they're allowing to be able to do is it's that visual search. How cool is that? Okay, and I really can't wait. So when you have a question and you want to see something going on, where to get those, whatever that thing is, you can now use, or you will be able to, you know, use your a visual search. You'll be able to take a picture of it and search. Guys, that's amazing. And as a consumer, that makes everything so that you don't even have to leave the app, because it used to be that you would have to. You'd have to, you know, if you were trying to find something, you'd have to try and do searches, right? And that would take you outside the app, and that's killer. That kills the experience, and especially within a Pinterest, where even though they kind of direct you to a page, you think of it like a sales funnel. Every pin is a sales funnel. Okay, you search for it, you find that thing, and then every action is closer until that point where you click that final button to go and to buy it, or to go, and that's what they're streamlining, and that's why I think, okay, so that's where I'm seeing in why I think Pinterest is actually doing what they do better than anybody else, and why I think that even though they're not, as of right now, or that I know of, they're not including live video, and I think they're just fine. Unlike maybe say another platform that just got bought by Microsoft, I don't think they're doing fine right now by not having live video. That's what I'm thinking. I also want to make sure to give you guys a chance. Hey, what do you guys think? I'm trying to catch up. And by the way, good morning to all my Facebook people. You guys are watching on Facebook, guys. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Trying to catch up, and all right, so let's see another topic for today. The next topic on Instagram translation feature. What do you think that? Instagram translation. So here's why this, I think, is super important, and why this impacts not just the casual user, but I think it impacts those that are why I think that will impact the way that the world uses Instagram. And I think this is probably one of the smartest things outside of being able to share your Instagram picture to other platforms. This is why I think this is super important. Okay, you guys know we just talked about this. I think it was even like yesterday, right? And by the way, here's, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at John Tripp. There it is, below. This is why this is important. Okay, Instagram translation feature with 500 million users on this platform. Obviously, guys, they're not all in the U.S. They're not, or they're not all Spanish speaking, or they're not all, they're not all Chinese, right? I mean, you guys get my point. They're not all one single language or culture users. They're literally all over the world. And a translation app like this allows me to be able to post something, and it doesn't have to be super complex or long, but I can post some text. I can post a caption with it, and then somebody from around the world, having not been able to read English, is able to now read my post, and vice versa. Because I think there are some of the most beautiful photography comes out of other countries, at least from my perspective as an American, U.S. side, right? But it's not just that it supports the language, it's now there's a translation for it. Okay, it's not that you can type in other languages, it's that I'm able to see that. I think that's a super great move on their part. Okay, and I again, this is like one of those things, they're going to be rolling it out. It's not available all over the place all the time. It's going to be rolled out, and so that's just the way that that's going to be. But I'm excited to see how that is actually going to. I think that will greatly improve Instagram. So super smart move on that. Um, does anybody else? How many of you guys all use Instagram? We already talked about this yesterday. I think that's going to be a pretty cool thing. Let's see. Our next topic. There we go. I was trying to pull it up. Live streaming for Tumblr. We actually mentioned this the other day. I saw David Vaughn. He did a test, and this is an aggregate. As of right now, it's an aggregate news feed. Feed. If I as I understand this, the way this works is, I mean, you can do your live streaming, but you're able to bring in your live stream from other feeds. I don't think it's actually integrated right now with Periscope or Facebook Live. I think they're working on it. But here's why this is actually really, I think, going to be really pretty cool is that for Tumblr, what this is brings literally live stream into Tumblr. And I'm going to compare Tumblr to Google Plus in this way. I don't think that everybody uses it. Matter of fact, I know everybody doesn't use it. Okay. But the impact is this, that those that use it are really hardcore in it. They're on the platform. That's their platform. They ignore the other platforms, or by and large, or only they let, in some ways, like how a lot of people are using Facebook as their primary. That's where they connect. So a lot of people use Tumblr for that. And by now integrating this a live stream video, it's just going to deepen the engagement, I think, on that platform. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody needs to run over to Tumblr. That is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that if you're on Tumblr and have an audience, or want to deepen the engagement of your audience, use live stream on that platform. I think it's one of those things that they rolled it out, and I think it's actually going to get better within the platform. And I actually can't wait to see how they're going to start how they're going to actually start bringing other feeds in from outside. And we'll see how they're actually going to do that. Yes, Alex. So basically, YouTube streams into Tumblr. Yeah, and it's a fun platform. Again, I'd say just be careful, almost like any other platform, social platform out there. Be careful what's on it. Be careful where you go. Not everywhere's a nice place, but that's just social media, and use social responsibly, guys. Right? So that's why I think that live streaming on Tumblr is important. And here's how I think it relates out to other platforms, or to social in general. Okay, that not every place is where you need to be. You don't need to live stream every single thing, but what Tumblr is demonstrating is that live streaming with super niche community, with a really well developed and interactive community, is going to get you the best return on your live stream video investment. Okay. The other side is that I think Tumblr is showing that you do not have to be a TV production company in order to produce live, but we already kind of knew that. And it doesn't mean that you can get away with, unless you're like some kind of like a super social star or something like that, scoping or live streaming from your bed. Not a good idea. I don't see the appeal for that. I don't see the value in that. What I do see is that producing better content. Yes. Okay. Yep. Yeah, and see, that doesn't surprise me, because he's got a really dedicated following. Joel does. And I mean, he's a fun guy, and that's his whole thing. As a matter of fact, I almost bet his take on this new video Facebook live streaming changes to his face. I bet he's going to go back. Well, see, I told you needed to be using your Facebook. This is why I do Facebook from my profile, not from my fan page. I bet that's why he does it. Now, he does it. He's got that personality and that brand, that personal brand, that he does everything from. It's just him. And I could start doing that. Yeah, I could do that. but I don't think that that gives the image or the direction that I want. I mean, I might share my feed to my profile. I'm not really sure, unless I'm doing something personal, that I want my show to come from my personal Facebook profile. I would rather have it come from my fan page. And Carlos, you always, okay, he says always do it from a profile. And maybe this is the paradigm shift I need to start making. I know Sandra Santorino, I know she does that from her personal profile, but she actually has this, she's like a super marketing ninja with this. And I kind of use that funny because she knows that's not how I talk. But she uses she uses a technique where she's actually broadcasting from several of her profiles all at once. And she said she's really enjoyed the interaction, the engagement for that. And Terry, I think that's a really good point. Exactly what you're saying. And for those of you guys that haven't already, you can join us here in Huzzah. Over at huzzah.io / and then my name, Jonathan Tripp. That will get you into our chat today. And you're welcome to come on over. I'd be really happy to have you. But Terry, I think you hit it right on the head. I don't know that my friends, my Facebook friends and my Facebook family want to see this show. Not because it's boring, not because it's dull or anything, because guys, we all know this is not a boring show. But what I think it is that this is a business side. You know, this is more of like we talk about business, marketing, social media, social media day. Hello. I don't think that my friends want to see that. What they do want to see are maybe, me going out, making a cup of coffee and talking about something funny that happened that day, showing something that happened with my kids, or going out to the garden, or something social, like I was over at a concert or something happened. And I think what would for me, and this is my thought, and Carlos, I just saw your comment, so this is actually what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking that would happen is that maybe at first they'd kind of they tune in just to see what it was, and then after that they would never tune in. And Facebook, through their algorithm, at least historically, has always been, oh, if they have engagement at first and then no follow-up engagement, it must mean that they don't actually want to see that. So they would actually see less and less and less. And so that would, overall, that would say that my feed is less and less and less important. And so it will show it to less and less and less people. That's historically how it's been. Do I need 5,000 friends in order to get a good sample rate? Or can I just stick with like my 1,400 people? Because I've had a lot of people friend me on Facebook lately. And by the way, that is an invitation. You guys friend me on Facebook. It's fine. I'm not one of those. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to accept it. There's some people I won't. If I feel you're a bot or spammy, it's not going to happen. But I do get your point. And Carlos, I think it works. My point is that I think it works for some people, and I don't think it'll work for other people. Not everybody wants to see Gary Vee in their timeline. Okay. I don't want to see him in my personal timeline, like he's a personal friend, because then I have to be really careful that what he says in my house, because I don't, because of the language thing. That it doesn't mean that Gary is ineffective. It just means that I don't want to see him in that place. If I want to see him, I'll go to his fan page, right? And Terry, and so my solution really is, and I don't do this very often, but thanks for everybody that has been tagging me today and things like that, in whether it's the feeds or the social media day. But Terry, you actually bring up a really good point. Do live on your Facebook page, and then you share it to your personal page, and to see like how does that go. All right. Let's see here. Oh, Susan Fisher uses my personal profile is totally separate from my business pages. Susan says I would never stream from my personal profile. I would never, and Susan, that's exactly the point. I would never stream from my personal profile about business. It would be about, I would stream from my personal profile about personal stuff. And I mean, if it turns into a little bit of business, that's okay. But I don't want my whole stream to be about that thing. Does that make sense? I mean, that's how I envisioned it and saw that. Okay, so we talked about Facebook, the changing timeline, and we always seem to come back to that. The Pinterest with the new shopping cart features and making it easier. Instagram translation features, I think, is a huge thing, or will be a huge thing. I think it'll be great because we won't even really notice it. It'll just be one of those features that just make our Instagram experience is better, and it's not like a brand new piece of technology. It's not like Facebook Live where all of a sudden it's this new thing. I think it's going to be really super cool. Live streaming, but I just want to touch about it on Tumblr, super niche communities and things like that. Twitch for creatives, okay? This kind of caught my eye, and here's a couple of reasons. It's not new. It's not new. How many of you guys know what Twitch is to begin with? Not everybody knows, and I just want to kind of take the temperature. J-Boy, good to see you. Okay. Okay, Cindy, you know. So, oh, hey, Cindy, I thought you were taking today off. Happy anniversary to you, by the way. Okay, so Twitch. Primarily, Twitch isn't Twitch owned by Yahoo, if I'm not mistaken? Irregardless, Twitch is a live streaming platform primarily geared, or historically been geared for gaming. So if you do PlayStation whatever version, whatever your platform is, and I'm trying to think of they go into really they have a lot of interaction with real-time games, first-person shooters, things like this. The genres just keep going, and they also go back. So that you're able to watch some people playing some of the older games, even some of like the Mario Kart versions. Okay, so here's the thing. Now, we could digress and just go into that. Maybe we'll do a show on Twitch one day, right? But here's what they're doing. They are opening up for non-gaming streams. Okay, and they, in some ways, in the same way, kind of how YouTube is doing the same thing, where there's a gaming version of YouTube that only has gaming related content, and it's help separating or help creating a more loyal following and more loyal listeners / watchers. Okay, so what's really starting to happen is with Twitch now is that they're opening up, and I don't have the page. There's a blog, but they want creatives. Okay, so people like Cindy, if you're painting, you're actually creating something. They're making a place so that you can do that. So it is for artists. If you're doing music, if you're writing music and you're actually doing it, that's where they want to see. Now, what they don't have, they're trying to separate it out, are things like you may be a carpenter, an artistic carpenter, right? You know, somebody who's not just making 8,000 chairs because you have an order to fill, but you're making custom-made furniture or something like this. They want to see the design side and maybe some of the creation of the actual piece. What they don't want to see, and they're actually very clear, this is the example they gave, they don't want to see you putting the piece of furniture together. They don't want to see you putting the glue on and putting the thing together and ratcheting it. They don't want to see that. Okay, and so I think that's an interesting part, and it is a place that I don't know if it's the same on the creative side yet. But I would imagine if it mirrors the gaming side, you're able to take tips or receive tips and things like this. And you're able to make probably as much money as people are willing to give you. But again, there are some other streaming platforms out there, and I think is it PictoArt or PicArt? Something like that. That's another place you can. But Twitch already has a very solid platform, a very large community already attached to it. So I think you get a better experience. And there are softwares out there that allow you to actually live stream to both. So I thought that was really interesting that live streaming that Twitch is noticing that it's like, hey, there's a whole other market that we can reach that's still very true to our core mission. And how many of us in our business, and how many of us when we're doing live streaming, that we're actually thinking in those terms instead of just, well, I have to do a show, or I don't have anything I need to do X, Y, Z, and all I can do is this. They're taking that core mission of live streaming for entertainment and for creative things, because believe it or not, gaming is actually a very creative task. You can really take that in a lot of different places, and now they're taking it and they're broadening their mission, and I think it's a really super smart move. And I want to get into that place where I can actually watch and see some people. And Cindy, I don't have your mug today, That was, I think, Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. But I would want to see you painting that picture of that mug. See what I mean? Like you can be streaming as you're doing the painting, and then you can show, hey, I'm making this painting and it's going to show up on a mug like this. Now this is Melissa's mug, but she could do the same thing. But Cindy, I mean, because you're here, and actually, I think Melissa, I think Melissa is Melissa. Are you watching us on Facebook Live? Just give me a like or something like that. And by the way, if you are on Facebook, please do me a favor and share this out. I would appreciate it. Susan, you have some really great comments today on on the fan page. I really appreciate it. I'm super glad to see that. And good morning to Brian, everybody that's watching us out. Okay. Oh, she went to work. Okay, I saw. Okay, cool. So those were the top things that I saw today. And it really, I see a lot more of, and we touched on this topic yesterday. I see a lot more of these social platforms looking to connect with the user without having to sell them on using it, and making the use of the platforms more social, less advertisement feel. We all know those advertisements when they just feel like they're pushing a product on you rather than showing you what they have. And it's not just, I'm not interested in buying baby clothes anymore. Okay, I'm all done buying baby clothes. So when I see a baby clothes advertisement, guys, it doesn't connect. I mean, I might reminisce a little bit, but I'm not going to go, you know what, I need that. That's where we feel that when the right advertisement hits us and we see it at the right time, that's the name of the game for them. It's providing good quality. The content is interesting. Actually, some of the most interesting and funny video commercials I've seen are actually the Geico commercials I see on my YouTube channel. I actually enjoy watching them, where they do the intro and then they cut just as they start to get your interest, and then they give their short few seconds plug, and and then they cut away to like the end of that story that you started with some completely random thing, and it's hilarious. It's really funny. It's very creative. Now I hope they don't stop with that. I hope that they continue and maybe grow it. That's a really good kind of, they're telling the story in a very engaging way. But I think brands are doing a good job. They're making them more personal. The most interesting man commercial. Yep, right. And Carlos, I'm reading your comment, but if they share it, it will be on their personal time. Okay, I get what you're saying. All right, so here's the thing, right? How many of you guys saw, and I want to talk also about this as far as like advertising and use, and how I think we're going to start seeing social media be used where I feel a little more connected to the brand. How many of you guys remember the Verizon commercials where the guy's walking around, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Remember that guy? I do. Okay, do you know that commercial set went on for 9 years? 9 years of Verizon paying this guy. Can you hear me now? Okay. And Alex, you caught it. You caught it. He switched teams. He's no longer Verizon rep. He works for Sprint now. And if you haven't, you got to watch this commercial, because what they do is he uses his real name. He comes down it's very subtle. It's actually very subtle because we know him from Verizon, and we're used to seeing him in other colors other than like the Sprint yellow. So he's got this coat on and he's got this yellow shirt. You don't see anything else. Yeah, J-Boy, 9 years. That's how successful that was. It didn't feel like 9 years. But this new Sprint commercial has him coming down, and he starts with his dialogue, and he says, "Hi, my name's Paul." Right, and that's his real name, and I don't remember his last name, but that was his real name. Okay, and he goes on, but now he's personalized it where you recognize him. You knew him from something, and he kind of brought it over to, well, hey, I'm with Sprint now. And then he gives us reasons why, like he's personally using it. Now, maybe he is. I don't know. I'm sure he doesn't have a Verizon phone anymore. But what I'm seeing is that we knew him, gave him some cultural context, that personal connection, and then he talked a little bit about Sprint, and then it was the why he was using it and why now you should too, because you already know him, and now you should be using it just like him. This was a brilliant marketing commercial, all in all. And I just described it. It's all of 30 seconds. It's worth the watch if you can find it. And there are. Just look for it. You can search it. And if I was a better show host, I'd have a link ready for you today. But I don't. So, oh yeah, Alex, thanks for posting it. So, how do you pronounce it? Marcarelli. But I think that was a very interesting way, and I think the more that advertisement gets to that, where you have a little bit more of that commercial, a little bit of that personal connection rather than the commercial side, I think that's what's really going to attract people. First person perspective. That's good for connecting the audience, getting them into the action, not like a video game or like the VR experience where people are getting sick. The motions here is it's too much. I'm not talking about like that, not like virtual reality, although I'm sure that's going to come. I mean, you get them close and personal so that you feel that you know me. So it's kind of like, hey guys, welcome to the show. Melissa, thank you for your mug, and then I can tell you a story about a mug, and then I can show you, hey, you can do this too by using in this XYZ company, right? That's how marketing is going to go, because it's not just a picture of the mug. It's a picture of the mug with me, and then me telling you how you can do this too. That's essentially what it is. But, so let's see. Do you guys have other examples of what's going on right now in social? And by the way, so while you guys are thinking about that real quick, today is social media day. Please do me a favor. If you're in our Facebook group, make sure that take a picture and tag me in it. I'd really appreciate it. I'd love to see what fun things you guys are doing today, what happy things you are doing, and share them on whatever social platform you're on, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. That's fine. Tag me in it so I can see what you guys are doing. I would really like to be encouraged and share some positive pictures today, share some positive social media today. So that's the challenge for today, and I did put that challenge up in our group. One thing I do want to do, and I want to say thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, guys. And this is also an encouragement to you guys. If you would help me, support me on Patreon. I do put the link below. It's patreon.jonathantripp.com. Will get you over to that. That's my Patreon page, and that helps me be able to produce and do better things with this show. Because I do have some ideas I want to do, and I want to produce and share out, whether it's more news stuff, walkthroughs and tutorials and things like this. I have an Instagram workshop coming up next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. My Patreon supporters all get, as of right, I just decided all of my Patreon supporters get in for free. And we're just going to it's going to be over at least an hour, for however long you want. But for an hour, we're going to do a live workshop and Q&A. That's a benefit of Patreon and things like that. So, but I want to give you guys a chance. Please go over there, even if it's just like for $1 or $5 a month. It's a huge help, and I appreciate it. And I know within Huzzah, you have a tipping feature. I would rather provide you more value through Patreon. And so I would just say, hey, if you would, please help support me, because it makes everything a little bit easier when we're trying to make better things, okay, here. So with that, and now I'm seeing you guys are posting all of your, the Verizon to Sprint articles and YouTube videos in the chat. That's pretty funny. That's awesome. Because I think that shows a really good, those articles show a major shift in our social media in the way that we're seeing advertising and actually want to engage in it. So yes, Sandra, I just saw your comment on Facebook. You absolutely, if you don't tag me in a picture, I'm going to hunt you down today. Okay? That's the truth. I will hunt you down. All right. So with that, Do you guys have anything else? What's another social media? What are you guys going to do for social media today? I'll just take a couple minutes with that, and then if not, then we're going to end the stream today, but not without saying, guys, thank you everybody that has been a supporter. And in the coming weeks here, we're in coming days and weeks, I'm not going to be doing a show tomorrow or Monday. It's between personal holidays and then a long holiday, like national holidays here in the U.S. So I'm going to be taking the weekend off. It's going to be actually kind of a long weekend. But so I will be back on Tuesday. I'm going to be I'll post some things throughout the weekend and things like this. But get ready for Tuesday to be back on track, back on schedule. And I really can't wait to be able to have fun with you guys, talking about some things that are going to be coming up. We are going to be doing some walkthroughs and some tutorials. We're going to be bringing on some guests, and not just social media guests. I want to talk about there's some young startups I want to talk with. I'm trying to get them lined up. We're going to be talking about maybe somewhere on the business focus side, and I have a couple speakers that I have kind of in the wings, and we're going to be making them part of our show kind of going forward. So I'm really excited to have you guys continue to be a part of the show and continue to share it out, because guys, I really appreciate you and everything. So with that, guys, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see where we're going to be going here in the next short bit. And so stick around and follow me on Facebook or on Twitter. Those are probably the two easiest ones. And otherwise, guys, have a great weekend. We will see you next time.